everybody's on. Okay, good morning, everyone. We will call the September 15th meeting of the Development Committee to order. Call the roll, please.
Member Chaplin?
Here.
Member Covert?
Here.
Member Hart?
Here.
Member Ozog?
Here.
Member Rutledge?
Here.
Chair Tornatori?
Here. And we have a quorum. We do not have a physical quorum in the building, so everything we do will have to be via roll call. I have nothing under chairman's remarks. I understand we have one public comment that was sent in via email. Tony, would you read it, please?
Yeah, where's the optimal spot in this room?
We've remiked it, so it should, actually, you know what? I'd kind of like to see if they can hear you sitting back there where you're at.
Oh,
Okay, it's already said.
Oh, okay.
I'll go back to my corner where I'm
It should be
supposed to be.
remiked so everybody can hear.
The comment is from Steve Barch. He's on Argyle Avenue. It's regarding his own zoning petition. Case number Z19-090. I feel my variance request should be approved. My request for a lot split is justified by the fact that there are many smaller lots in our Keeneyville neighborhood. My next door neighbor has a house on a lot 27,000 square feet, which is smaller than one of my lot size that I am requesting. I've also submitted a list of 10 lots with houses that have reduced size lots in my neighborhood. This shows that reduced half-acre lots is consistent with the neighborhood. Also, if these lots were to be approved, probably someday 2 new bigger homes will be built. The potential for a much greater increase for real estate tax revenue will occur for the county. This increase in tax revenue will benefit all of DuPage County. And that's it.
Thank you. That concludes the public comment portion of our meeting. We'll move on to approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of September 1st, 2020.
Second.
A motion by member Rutledge, a second by member Chaplin. Any additions, corrections, or deletions? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call, please.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert?
Aye.
Member Hart?
Aye.
Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Rutledge?
Aye.
Chair Tornatori?
Aye, and the minutes are approved. Moving on to regulatory, I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 6420 ordinance C1990 Barsh. This is a zoning hearing officer's denial of a variation to reduce lot size from the required 40,000 square feet to 34,590, and a variation to reduce lot size width from the required 125 feet to approximately 100 feet average for lot 2. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Chaplin.
Move on. Is there a second? Second by member Covert. Okay, as we know, all of our motions are in the affirmative. This is a denial by the zoning hearing officer. Paul, I know you and I talked about this earlier. Can you give us a little history on why the zoning hearing officer denied this application?
The zoning hearing officer had 2 hearings on this matter. The first hearing, the petitioner didn't present any hardship or practical difficulty other than his financial concern that he wanted to divide the property up, sell it, and move away from the community. On the second go-round, the hearing officer asked the petitioner to submit documentation showing where there were other lots in the neighborhood, Keeneyville neighborhood. Incidentally, Keeneyville neighborhood is south of Lake Street and essentially west of Gary Avenue and east of Garden Avenue in unincorporated Roselle, Bloomingdale, and Hanover Park area. The petitioner submitted some documentation showing that there were lots that were smaller than minimum 40,000 square feet on the western portion of the Keeneyville area over on Gary Avenue and on the west side of Gary Avenue, which the county board has approved variations for over the last 20 years. The zoning hearing officer was looking specifically for lots that were in the immediate area, and there was only one lot in the immediate area that was smaller than 40,000 square feet, and that was the area directly to the west of the subject property. The petitioner also indicated that properties directly to the north of the subject property, located in the village of Bloomingdale, is a townhouse subdivision where the lots are obviously much smaller than the 40,000 square feet minimum, and much smaller than the 27,000 that he was asking to go to. But in the end, the zoning hearing officer found that the petitioner really didn't demonstrate a hardship or practical difficulties to support the two variations.
Okay, and if I can summarize what you had told me earlier, that there are properties adjacent with smaller lots within Bloomingdale. There were no objections from the neighbors or municipalities. The county has granted reduced lot sizes for several lots 2 and 3 blocks west of this area. The lot splits and sizes would be consistent with the future overlay district we have in place for Lake Street, which we're working on to try to clean up some of Lake Street. However, there are no lots in the immediate unincorporated area that are close to a similar size. So it appears that the main reason, and I'm speculating here, for the denial was simply that the petitioner didn't put on a very good case. Am I summarizing, or am I giving a somewhat accurate description of what happened?
That's correct. I'll add two things there. First, one of the other additional items that one should consider is that if public sewer were available to these properties, not both public sewer and water, but only if public sewer were available to both of these properties, this property, these two lots would not need zoning relief. They'd be allowed as of right. And the idea there is that the county has these properties zoned in a zoning district that anticipates smaller lots and smaller density in this neighborhood to begin with, but for the fact that they don't have public sewer and water to them. That's the first thing. The second thing is
public sewer available for the property owner?
Public sewer is technically available. It would have to come from the village of Bloomingdale in the subdivision just to the north. However, it is not practically available because in order to run the sewer and the water to this property, they'd have to come around down the street. They just couldn't come to the backyards to the subdivision, to the multifamily subdivision to the north. So while it's technically available, practically it's cost prohibitive to bring the sewer and water down just for two lots. Now, that is something that the staff is aware of, but once again, the petitioner did not present any of that at the public hearing. And to the chairman's point, the only real testimony and evidence that the petitioner did submit was that he wanted to just gain a financial advantage by splitting this lot into two and selling it, which technically the zoning hearing officer isn't allowed to consider. But as the chairman has indicated, there are many factors that that we are aware of in terms of our planning processes that sort of lend itself to smaller lots in this neighborhood, similar to what the petitioner is proposing.
Thank you, Paul. Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chairman. Paul, two questions. One is that the petitioner's public comment talked about 27,000 square feet, but the ordinance says 23,568. What am I missing?
What the ordinance and what you have in your packet is what the petitioner is proposing in his development. I'm not sure where the number he's coming from, where he's getting, but what you have in your packet is the correct numbers and what the petitioner had asked for and testified to in the public hearing.
Okay, and then my second question is that the 23,568, would that be enough to install a septic field?
Yes, when we send these applications, or when we send these zoning petitions out to other disciplines in the county, we send them out to the building department, stormwater, health, public works, so on and so forth, transportation. The health department has come back and indicated that they do not have any concerns. There's no fatal flaws in putting septic and well on these properties. They have indicated that they would have to, the property owner would have to apply for and receive a septic and well permit from the health department. But the health department has indicated there's nothing that would, there's nothing on the land or with the proposed division of lands that would really be a fatal flaw to putting septic and well in on these properties. I would point out that there are new systems, new septic systems that don't require septic fields or as much land to put in a septic system these days. So that's why the health department has indicated no fatal flaws, but once again, would require getting permits from the health department.
And would he have to improve that in order to sell it, or that would be on the buyer's dime in order to submit?
Typically, it would be a negotiating point between buyer and seller.
Thank you.
Member Ozak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This question is for Paul. You said there was no commentary from the neighborhood at all?
We sent the answer is yes. We sent notification out to property owners within 300 feet. That included several property owners in the multifamily development to the north of the subject property. We also sent out notification to all the municipalities within a mile and a half. That was Bloomingdale, Hanover Park, and Roselle, and all the other disciplines like fire, township road commissioner, and there were no objections from any of those organizations or neighboring property owners.
So would it be fair to say, because I'm looking at, this is basically two lots that are each, he wants to divide them into two lots that are each over half an acre. So
Yep.
Is there, and he says there's one lot contiguous to him that's a considerably smaller lot?
If you look on pages 6 and 7, you'll see an aerial view with zoning layered down, and you'll also see the lot sizes in the immediate area. The lot immediately to the west is approximately 29,000 square feet in size. So
Okay.
it is a little bit larger than what's being proposed, but generally
The same.
similar in size. It's more of a horizontal lot going from east to west. It doesn't have a lot of depth. I think really that's what the petitioner was pointing out there. But nevertheless, it is technically, it is smaller than the minimum 40,000 square feet and generally within the ballpark of what the petitioner is proposing.
Okay. So basically though, in terms of financial hardship, or excuse me, in terms of hardship and practical difficulty, the only thing the petitioner talked about is that he wants to do this. And okay, I have a 200,000 or 20,000 foot lot myself. I mean, it's still a really big lot. And if there isn't neighborhood objection, I'm really not having a big problem with it. If the municipalities in the neighborhood, it doesn't seem like it's a very adhered to situation where every lot is definitely a solid acre. So I can kind of go either way at this point. Thank you.
Any other questions of Paul or comments regarding this?
I thought I had seen Liz's hand go up.
I'm sorry, what?
I thought I saw Liz's hand go up on there. I don't
Member
know.
Chaplin, do you have your hand up?
Thank you. I did, but Sheila, you asked my question. I was concerned about the septic as well.
Okay.
So that question was answered. So thank you.
Okay. And Paul, while the economic impact for requesting a variation is generally not the best of reasons to get one, there's no prohibition for somebody to be able to make more money simply because they've got an oversized lot that they want to subdivide so that they can sell, or 2 homes can be built as opposed to only one. Is that correct?
That's correct. And the resulting, attendant impact of dividing a property is always going to be a financial gain. It's just something that it can't be solely and primarily the hardship and practical difficulty that is being presented. And that's one of the issues that we had here. Now, I would add to the point that this is a gentleman that basically went pro se, meaning he did his own testimony. He really isn't skilled at developing the record, and I think that hurt him as well. And he was blatantly honest about what his intentions were, which, as the chairman said, is always sort of a attended impact of dividing a piece of property that you will likely make money on one of the lots, if not both.
And I think it's important, while we don't criticize anybody for making money, and it may not be the best reason to ask for variation. Virtually anytime somebody asks for some type of zoning rule, if there's going to be an economic benefit to that property owner, whether it's to put a fence up, build a pool, whatever the case might be, it usually improves someone's property. So I think we've got to keep that in the back of our minds. Yes, Member Ozak.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to talk about setting precedent, and I'm looking for guidance from you. Do you think that the fact that the neighbors, there were no complaints from the neighbors, and the fact that there is a lot contiguous to this lot that is under or is in the half-acre range, does that give us enough justification to look at this case specifically if we were leaning toward approval of the petitioner? I just want to be cautious about setting precedent in these cases.
I think that if I were to vote in favor of this, it would be because there are no objections from the neighbors, and there are other lots that are similar. Regarding precedent, as Paul has said many times, every parcel of property stands on its own. There's no such thing as precedent. So just because you did something for one lot here doesn't mean you have to do it somewhere else, because everything is unique as a property. So,
and Paul, there were no comments from the municipalities, correct? I'm sorry, Paul.
There were, just to be clear,
okay,
there were comments, and the comments were no objection. So they did respond, but with no objection.
The municipalities did. Okay.
The municipalities did, and they are aware that we are engaged in a Lake Street corridor plan, which is sort of the next block up, and this property in this area will be part of that Lake Street corridor plan that ultimately envisions more density in this area as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Member Rutledge.
One more question, kind of along that precedent question. And so when a petitioner is going to the zoning board looking for relief of this kind, yes, it's financial. I mean, what else is there that they would consider when looking to grant or refuse this kind of a request? I don't know. I'm with Mary. I think I'm inclined, if nobody's complaining about, or with Sam actually, if nobody's complaining about this, and why wouldn't we do this, or why would the zoning board, because he didn't put on a good case? I think that's kind of punitive.
I think you're supposed to present practical difficulty or hardship, and I think for the most part, the zoning board of appeals, particularly the zoning hearing officer, just doesn't want to hear somebody come in and say, I'd like to subdivide these lots so I can make some more money, so I can move to Florida, or whatever that may be. And that may be brutally honest to the petitioner, but it's not really the basis for it, although we don't hold economic benefits against somebody. So, okay, any other questions? Okay, hearing none, seeing none. We have a motion.
Desart is trying to raise her hand.
I'm sorry, Member Desart, did you want to say something?
I do. I wondered from Paul, is there any remedy for the denial for this property owner? Like, could he put in that newer, smaller septic field and well, and then come back and repetition the zoning board on the two properties?
Well, to be clear, the zoning board and the zoning hearing officer are recommending bodies. And in addition, I think that there is information that is factual information that staff puts in every single flyer sheet that you have available to you today about what's going on in the area in terms of lot sizes, in terms of what's going on in communities, in this case, Bloomingdale to the north. So there is perhaps enough information that was in the public hearing record, but was not necessarily testified to by the petitioner, but was factual information that is in the flyer sheet that would allow the development committee to make a different recommendation to the county board than what came from the zoning hearing officer. And also relative to your point about the health department, the petitioner, if zoning is approved, anybody who wants to build on these two lots would have to provide information on septic and well proposals to the county health department, to which the county health department has already indicated they would be receptive to septic and well on these smaller size properties. And incidentally, these properties, while smaller than the 40,000 square feet, are still dramatically larger than most single-family residential properties in the municipality. So there is plenty of room to put even a conventional system or even an unconventional system that doesn't require a field on it on these two properties. Does that make sense?
It does, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there being no further questions, there's a motion and a second to approve. An aye vote on this would be to grant the petitioner's request for the variations and overturn the zoning hearing officer's decision. A vote no would be to sustain the zoning hearing officer's decision and deny the petitioner's request. Roll call, please.
Member Chaplin.
Aye.
Member Colbert.
Aye.
Member Hart.
Aye.
Member Ozog. Member Ozog.
Only time I've done this today. Aye.
Member Rutledge.
Aye.
Chair Torrance.
Aye, and the motion carries. It will be sent to the county board. Thank you. Moving on to item B, I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 6620 ordinance C 2048. Kadoff, this is the zoning hearing officer's recommendation to approve a conditional use to allow an existing shed to remain less than 3 feet from the interior site property.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Rutledge, a second by member Chaplin. Any questions, discussion, comments? Hearing and seeing none, roll call, please.
Member Chaplin.
Aye.
Member Colbert.
Aye.
Member Hart.
Aye.
Member Ozog.
Aye.
Member Rutledge.
Aye.
Chair Torrance.
Aye, and the motion carries. Moving on to item C, I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 67-20, ordinance C 2049. Rutson, this is zoning hearing officer's recommendation to approve a conditional use to allow an existing shed to remain less than 10 feet from the side yard.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by member Rutledge, a second by member Chaplin. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call, please.
Member Chaplin.
Aye.
Member Colbert.
Aye.
Member Hart.
Aye.
Member Ozog.
Aye.
Member Rutledge.
Aye.
Chair Torrance.
Aye, the motion carries. We have anything under old business? We have anything under new business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by member Rutledge, second by member Chaplin. Roll call, please.
Member Chaplin.
Aye.
Member Colbert.
Aye.
Member Hart.
Aye.
Member Ozog.
Aye.
Member Rutledge.
Aye.
Chair Torrance.
Aye, the motion carries. We are adjourned, and thank you for joining us. Remember to start.
Have a good week, everyone.
You too.